Welcome to the intro.
Hi.
Hi, I'm out when you're an insult. My mouth is always in mode.
Yep.
She needs help, they're getting involved. We need help, forget my minerals. I just rub them out, I call them pencils. Watch me go around them like a stencil. I be breaking down the instrumental. Bounce, yeah, we got that bounce. Yeah, we got that clap. If you wanna talk, then come then.
Take me outside.
Hey babies, it's your mama. Just dropping by to do a little ditty, just a quick little bop shabop. I want to discuss some mainstream media, which I don't really talk much about. I do a lot of urban media because I'm urban, obviously. But I want to talk about a show called I hear Train, and I'm on the train and I don't see her. I'm the greatest, no Kendrick and no Sia. Anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, I would like, yes, mama, get out the street, dog. Oh, okay, you just don't stay in the street when it's a whole sidewalk to the right of you. Okay, you just don't have values at all. The Good Doctor. The Good Doctor. Now, this is a show on ABC, I think it was, that the advertisements kind of drew my attention. Okay, don't nobody want to get out the street. Okay, he's moving. Thank God. Yeah, it drew my attention. And hold on. I'm in a sketchy, it ain't really sketchy, it's a neighborhood I drive through all the time, but when I'm talking on video to the girls and I'm driving through the neighborhood and the other girls are out walking, folks feel like they need to talk to me while I'm driving and I just didn't have time. So anyway, okay, the church bus coming to get the girls. Amen. Anyway, so The Good Doctor is a show on ABC. It's let me see. The advertisements it drew my attention because the premise is, okay, we've got this doctor and he has autism and he is a doctor and, you know, hardships and drama. Okay, if you're gonna drive, daughter, you're gonna need to put your foot on the gas, on it, and you need to stay in your lane. Anyway, so I'm watching the advertisements and the girls are giving, you know, he has autism, but he's a doctor, so we're just gonna make it work. And it's like, transparency moment. I have been diagnosed twice with a form of high functioning, you know, I'm on the spectrum. You know, it's not, you know, when you think autism, a lot of times you think of nonverbal communication, this, that, and all of that. It's not always that. So I'm watching, you know, all these ads that keep popping up and I'm like, where are we going with this? What are we doing with us trying to say, well, he has autism, so he couldn't possibly be a doctor? I was like, I don't see it for that. So I tuned in. I tuned in to see what exactly the girls were giving. What are we saying here as far as autism and being a doctor? Because they don't have nothing to do with each other. You can do that. So I clicked play, and the show was good. It was really, really good. It was this young boy. He got to be my age, 20-something, and he's a surgical resident. Now, I'm finna get into the review, so if you haven't seen the show, go ahead, stop it right here, and watch it, and then come back unless you don't want to watch it or unless you just don't care. So, I'm starting. This boy is in what looks like the airport or some sort of a subway station or something like that, and there's some construction guys working on some stuff, and a little boy is walking under the construction, and the sign falls, and it breaks off into, you know, billions of little shards of glass, and the boy gets hit with the sign. So not only is he hit, he's cut, you know, all that. So he's down, he's on the floor. It's a situation. Now, the young man, Sean, who is the autistic doctor, he is standing there, he saw the whole thing. The mama runs to him, the daddy runs to the boy on the floor, runs to him and is giving, oh my God, get a doctor, seek help. This other doctor walks up, sees that his jugular has been cut by the glass, begins to apply pressure. Sean walks up just cool, calm, and collected and is like, you're not doing it in the right spot. And the doctor is giving, I'm a doctor, I think I know where a jugular vein is, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I mean, you would be right if it wasn't, this is a child. So his pieces haven't settled in where they're going to be at. You need to move your hand up a little bit because right now you're crushing his trachea. He can't breathe. So Sean moves his hand, the boy starts to breathe, and then Sean assesses the situation and is giving, you know, he has a cut. He has, okay, run the light. Cool. He is cut here. He has a cut in his side. And it looks like something's going on with his lungs. So Sean rushes off and gets, you know, goes to get some tubes from behind the soda machine, and he really MacGyvers the situation. He gets 2 bottles of whiskey, and he goes to get a knife from the TSA agents, and they're like, we're not gonna give you a knife. So I had to be at the airport. They're like, we're not gonna give you a knife, sis, because that's not what we do. And he's like, I need a knife, blah blah blah. So he grabs the knife, he starts to run, he gets pretty far, and then they tackle him. After they tackle him, the mom appears, and she's like, no, he needs that knife to help my son. So they escort him and the knife over to the boy, you know, with the whiskey and the tube and all of that. He MacGyvers this little machinery to help the boy's lung, like, keep air in it or not collapse or something. It was, honey, I'm not a doctor, I don't know, but he MacGyvered it and kept the boy stable enough for transfer. So they transfer him over. He's like, okay, well, take him to the hospital that I'm supposed to be starting at or whatever. So they get over there. In the meantime, the board of hospitals, I want to say board of trustees, but that sounds like a church thing. But the hospital board has gathered. The president knows Sean and has hired him. And the board, Hill Harper, who something about him, I'm not sure. But Hill Harper is giving, we don't want him. He's got autism. And autistic people can't communicate, and we need him to be able to communicate, and this, that, the other. And I'm like, how is it that it doesn't make sense to me, because I'm a person who sees all sides of things. And again, I may be a little sensitive because I've been, you know, told I'm on the spectrum myself. But it just doesn't make sense to me, because we all know that there are high-functioning autistic people, people with Asperger's, and all sorts of other things out here. Everybody ain't the same. So it doesn't make sense for him to not have met this young man and to be riding so hard for, let's not hire him, let's not have him on the team. Meet him first, and then, you know, then bring up your arguments and your problems. It just didn't make sense to me, but whatever. So Hill is riding hard and, you know, giving this, that, and the other. And they were supposed to be interviewing Sean, but he didn't make it to the function because he over here saving lives. So they get to the hospital, and Sean wants to, in the ambulance, he sees the little thing that shows your heart rhythm and beat and all of that. And it changes very slightly. The heart rate doesn't change, but something electrically changed. And he saw it. And he told them, this ain't right, this ain't right. And the ambulance, the EMTs were like, it's old equipment, you don't know what you're talking about, it's fine. And I'm sitting here like, this boy has already saved this young man's life. Why are y'all not taking him into account at all? But whatever. So they get to the hospital. He meets up with Antonia Thomas, I don't know her name on the show yet. And he's giving, you need to give him what, an EKG or some sort of a test. And she's like, don't nobody have time to be doing it. He cut. It ain't got nothing to do with his heart. And I'm saying, like, anytime you cut, it got something to do with your heart, because your heart pumps your blood, and if you cut, you're losing blood. So why are we just not taking into account? It does not make sense. It just didn't make. I'm sitting here watching, and I'm like, first of all, why are y'all not taking into account that this young man has literally MacGyvered something to keep this boy breathing, keep his lung intact? But y'all not taking any of his medical advice. Y'all wouldn't have been able to put this thing together and get this boy up. It just didn't make sense to me. That don't make sense to me either, girl. You're driving to the next stoplight. We just drove from one stoplight to the other, and you doing all of that. Anyway, so they like, girl, forget about it. And they actually, he tries to run back to save this young man again, and they escort him out of the hospital. And he's trying with all his might to get back in. Where'd my phone go? Okay. He's trying with all his might to get back in, and they not letting him in. So he's just outside in the rain, sitting there having flashbacks about, you know, his abusive father and his brother and all of that. It's sad. In the meantime, they in there doing surgery, and I'm not gonna talk about the other case because it ain't had nothing to do with nothing really. All in all, they were doing a surgical case on another guy, and some things went awry and blah. But so with this little boy, finally the doctor sees whatever Sean saw, the electrical change or whatever, and he's like, because Antonia asked, do you think we should give him this test? And the doctor was like, no, let's just go in here and do this, that, and the other. He sees it. He's like, well, why did you ask me before if you needed to do this test? And she's like, well, there's a weird guy who thinks we need to do it and blah, blah, blah. Now, you already know this weird guy made this little MacGyver situation to keep the boy alive. You told the other surgeon that the weird guy made this thing. So, obviously, he has some form of medical training and understanding of the body. Why are y'all not taking... it don't make sense to me. But they pause the surgery and they're doing the test. While they're doing the test, the evil surgeon, the mean, nasty surgeon, and Antonia go out to find the weird boy. And I'm like, y'all wouldn't let him back in the building. What makes you think he's still there? But anyway, they went outside, they got him, and they escorted him back in and showed, he looked at the screen and was like, well, this is what's going on. And the surgeon was like, well, that doesn't make sense. It's fine, blah, blah, blah. And Antonia is like, well, maybe a shard of glass got into his bloodstream and it's in his heart and it's messing up stuff. And I'm like, why y'all ain't just think about that before? It just doesn't make sense. So they go in, they get the shard of glass, blah, blah, blah. In the meantime, the president and the board is all arguing about whether Sean should be here. And the secretary busts in and is like, y'all need to look at this. And I was like, calm down, like, chill out. You weren't supposed to be interrupting, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, this is important. So she shows them the whole situation from the airport because somebody was recording that. And she's like, apparently this is one of our doctors. It makes us look great, blah, blah, blah. And it was Sean, obviously. And they're like, okay, well, we're willing to meet with him because he was late for the situation, because he was saving lives. So they go find Sean, they bring him back, and he talks about, you know, his bunny dying, his brother dying. He just kind of wants to save lives, and he gets the job, basically. And, you know, it's going to go from there. Very good show. Wonderful show. I enjoyed it. I'm going to have some issue with Hill Harper, but we're going to work through them. And let me slide in here to work. I'll be back to talk about a couple more things later. Peace.
Mrs. Brown, don't make me have to bring the meat back. I snatch off your edges, make you wonder where your weeds at. Believe that.